Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Homemade. And today, you all, we have one of the easiest cookies that you could possibly make. And I know you all remember before when I told you if you find a good base for anything, whether it's a cake, any dish, especially when you're baking, if you find a good base, then try to work with that base and just incorporate different flavors because it works, you all. It really, really works. So for this, we are going to be making a peanut butter cookie. Let's go ahead and get started. Now in this bowl, I have my 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm not using self-rising flour. I am using all-purpose flour. I have 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. I have just a pinch of salt because I am using salted butter for this recipe. And I also have 1 tablespoon of baking soda. In this bowl, I do have my 1 cup of brown sugar, and I also have 1/2 cup of granulated sugar. I have my 1 egg and my 1 egg yolk. That egg yolk, it does make a difference. You do need it. And here, you all, I just have about 3 to 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, and I am using the creamy peanut butter. If you want to use the crunchy, feel free. But I just love the texture of the creamy peanut butter. And here I have my 2 sticks of melted butter, and I have let this butter cool. Now, I will say this with my butter. Sometimes I don't melt it completely, but I make sure that I do have enough liquid in there because it does affect the texture of your cookies. So again, 2 sticks of melted butter, and it is cool. So what we're going to do now is I am going to go ahead and stir our dry ingredients, which is our flour, baking soda, salt, and our cornstarch. I want to make sure I am getting that all incorporated. So what we're going to do now is I am going to take my butter and my sugar, and I'm going to whisk that together. Let me get my whisk. So I'm going to whisk this together, and you do want to make sure that you whisk this until your butter and your sugar mixes really well. So now I'm going to add my peanut butter. I would add my eggs at this stage, but again, we don't want to overwork our batter and our mixture, and overworking the eggs will cause a problem. So we're going to put those in afterwards. And it may take a minute for you to just kind of break up that peanut butter in there. But you do kind of want to make sure that you're breaking it up because you do want it to be spread evenly throughout your cookies. If you'll see, it starts to mix really well. Now we're going to add in our vanilla, and I am not measuring this, but the more the better. Can't go wrong with your vanilla. Now our eggs are at room temperature. You're going to pour that into your flour mixture. You're just going to stir that in. And it smells so good. We do want a crunchy outside and a chewy inside for our cookies. So I am done mixing that. You see how quick that was? Simple. We are going to pop this into our fridge, and I am going to let mine chill for 30 minutes, and I'm going to come back and pop them into the oven. Our cookie dough has been chilling for a few minutes in the refrigerator for about 45 minutes. So now we're about to start preparing our cookies to go into our oven. And remember, our oven is preheated to 325 degrees. I have my cookie sheet here in line with our parchment paper, and here I have a saucer, and it has about 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar in it, and we're going to roll our cookies in the granulated sugar before we place them onto our baking sheet. So if you can see, that's how our cookie dough looks, and it does look a little crumbly because it is still cold, but it is soft. So I like to just take about an ice cream scoop full, because I do like a bigger cookie, and just kind of form it into a little ball, roll it around in my sugar, and I just plop it onto my baking sheet as such. And we are going to place 6 cookies onto our baking sheet. You can do these as small or as big as you want to. If you are doing this size, which I consider a large size, you can get about 18 cookies out of this dough if you're doing them this size. So just make sure you coat it really well in your granulated sugar, because once we take them out of the oven, that granulated sugar on the top, it will look so nice on our cookies. So let's go ahead and pop these into the oven, take them out, let them cool, and we are going to come back and sample this goodness. We are back. Our cookies are done, and as you can see, they are smelling so good. And these are our peanut butter cookies. They are crispy on the crispy and crunchy on the outside. You all, they are so chewy on the inside. The peanut butter. They're not super sweet, even though we roll them in the sugar at the end. They are just right. They're crunchy, but they're chewy. And I will say this. Now, once you roll the cookies up in a ball before you put them into the oven, I like to press mine down with the bottom of a glass or bottom of a bowl, and it just gives them the flatter shape, because I did cook these for 16 minutes, and I was able to yield 17 cookies. I could have done 18, but I only did 17. And these are some pretty healthy size cookies, you all. If you are doing a smaller batch, then of course you'll get more cookies out of that batch. If you like peanut butter, this is the recipe to try. I do have another peanut butter cookie recipe that I'll share with you a little later. Kids. Now, when you bake this recipe, make sure that you drop your comments and your pictures in the comment section. If there's something that you didn't like about the recipe, if you changed anything, let me know, because we can all help each other to improve. You all, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel if you want to keep seeing our easy homemade recipes. Simple, easy recipe from scratch, not from a box, not from a pack, and not out of a freezer. This was from scratch, you all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. As I always say, cooking is as easy or as hard as you make it. But I promise you, if you keep it simple, just be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.